So, your first video went viral, the numbers soared, and honestly the comments just poured in. Now the audience wants more. This is, a wonderful problem to have, but it's also a dangerous one. The temptation is to simply repeat what worked, to give the audience the same jokes, the same conflicts, the same resolution. But really, this is the biggest mistake a creator can make. A sequel is not a copy, it's an evolution. It must honor the spirit of the original, while offering something fundamentally new. The audience thinks they want the same thing again, but actually they don't. What they truly want is to feel the same way they felt the first time: surprised, engaged, satisfied. Repeating the formula will only lead to disappointment. Think of your first video as a promise. You introduced a character with a problem. Maybe it was a small business owner, let's call her Sarah, who created a fantastic new coffee blend. Her problem was that no one knew about her little shop. The first video showed her clever, funny, and heartfelt struggle to get her first 10 customers. She succeeded. The story ended. A sequel that shows her trying to get another 10 customers in the exact same way is not a story, it's a rerun. The sequel must ask a new question: what happens after success? What new, bigger problem does her initial victory create? Every solution creates a new problem. Sarah's viral video brought hundreds of customers. This seems like a victory. And it is. But it's also the seed of a new conflict. Now she can't keep up with demand. Her supplier can't deliver beans fast enough. A bigger coffee chain sees her as a threat and starts a price war. The sequel is not about getting noticed anymore, it's about survival. For a sequel to work, the stakes must be higher. This doesn't just mean the problem is bigger, it means the consequences of failure are more severe. But now, after her initial success, she has something to lose. She has loyal customers, she might have hired her first employee, she has a reputation. If she fails now, she lets everyone down. The failure is public and it is more painful. Raising the stakes is about applying pressure. You take the world you built and start squeezing it. The rival chain can afford to lose money for months to drive her out. This isn't just competition, it's David versus Goliath. The stakes can also be personal. Perhaps the stress is affecting Sarah's relationship with her family. She's working 18-hour days, missing family dinners. Now she doesn't just risk losing her business, she risks losing the people she loves. This internal conflict is often more powerful than any external one. The audience connects with her struggle on a human level. The question becomes, will Sarah be able to hold her life together while she fights for her dream? When you raise the stakes, you must make them clear to the audience. Don't just imply the danger, show it. Show the worried face of her employee, the empty chair at dinner, the aggressive marketing right outside her window. Every scene should remind the viewer what is at risk. By constantly defining the consequences of failure, you ensure the audience remains on the edge of their seat, deeply caring about this new, more dangerous journey. A story is about change. A character who ends the story the same way they began is not a character, they are a prop. In a sequel, character growth is even more critical. The hero of your first video solved a problem. That experience should have changed them. They learned something, gained a new skill, developed a new perspective. The sequel must test this growth. It must present a challenge that the old version of the character could not have handled. Let's look at Sarah. She was creative, she was brave, but perhaps she was also a perfectionist who wanted to do everything herself. That trait helped her create the perfect coffee blend. In the sequel, this very same trait becomes her biggest weakness. With hundreds of customers, she cannot possibly roast every bean, brew every cup, and serve every person by herself. Her perfectionism is now the bottleneck threatening her business. Her journey in the sequel is not about learning to make better coffee. It is about learning to trust others, to delegate, and to let go of control. This internal journey is the heart of the sequel. The external problem, the rival chain, the overwhelming demand, is simply the force that pushes the character to confront their internal flaw. Sarah has to hire new staff, train them, trust them to maintain her standards. The resolution should reflect this growth. She doesn't win by creating a magical coffee bean, she wins by becoming a leader, building a passionate, dedicated team. A sequel cannot exist in a vacuum. To keep the story fresh, you must expand the world you created. This means introducing new elements that change the rules and create new possibilities for conflict and drama. These could be a new character, a new setting, a new threat, or even a new rule that governs the world. In Sarah's story, we could introduce a seasoned, grumpy old baker who owns the shop next door. At first, he might complain about the long lines blocking his entrance, but he could become a reluctant mentor, offering Sarah cryptic but valuable advice on survival. This new relationship adds a layer to the story, gives Sarah someone to learn from, argue with, and ultimately win over. Another powerful technique is introducing a new rule or threat. Perhaps a citywide health inspection with incredibly strict regulations creates a ticking clock and new pressure. Or maybe there's a sudden shortage of a key ingredient. This forces Sarah to innovate, to travel to find a new supplier, expanding the physical world and sending her on a literal journey. These new elements should not be random. They must connect to the central theme and character's journey. If Sarah's journey is about learning to lead, then introducing a difficult but talented new employee makes perfect sense. When a viewer clicks on part 2, you face a challenge. Some watched part 1 minutes ago, others months ago, and some never saw it at all. You need to bring everyone up to speed without boring those who know. A long summary at the beginning loses attention. The art of the recap is weaving necessary information into your new story, quickly. One technique is active exposition. Instead of saying Sarah's shop went viral, show it. Open with Sarah frantically serving a huge crowd. A customer says, "I can't believe how crazy it's gotten since that video." Another method is visual cues and quick flashbacks. As Sarah stares at the rival's advertisement, insert a 1-second flashback to her celebrating her viral video. That contrast establishes the before and after. These flashbacks should be incredibly short, like flickers in memory. You can use on-screen text sparingly. Focus only on details relevant to the sequel's conflict. You don't need to recap every plot point. She started a small shop, had a creative idea to get customers, and it worked spectacularly. That's it. All other details can be left behind. A good recap should feel less like a summary and more like the first brushstrokes of a new painting, grounding the viewer before the real story unfolds. Even a short 5-minute video needs solid structure to keep viewers engaged. Classic narrative structure adapts perfectly for sequels. It provides a reliable blueprint, ensuring your story has a beginning, middle, and satisfying end. This breaks down into 4 key parts: the hook, the development phase with its scene sequel cycle, the resolution, and finally, a new hook for the future. Understanding this flow helps you pace perfectly and hold attention from first second to last. The first 30 seconds are your hook. This is where you grab the audience. For a sequel, the hook must re-establish the world and introduce the new, bigger problem immediately. We open on Sarah's chaotic, successful shop, pan across the long line, the stressed Sarah, then reveal the giant rival sign across the street. In 30 seconds, we've recapped Part 1's success and established Part 2's central conflict. The question is posed: how will she survive this new threat? The next 3 minutes are the development. This is the main body of your story, and it works best as a cycle of scene and sequel. A scene is where the character takes action to achieve a goal. A sequel is the emotional reaction and decision that follows. Scene 1, Sarah tries to compete by offering a discount. The rival chain immediately offers a bigger one. She fails. Sequel 1, Sarah is devastated. She feels hopeless. But then she looks at her loyal employee and decides she cannot give up. Scene 2, she decides to do something the big chain can't, offer a unique community experience like an open mic night. This cycle of action, reaction, and new decision drives the story forward. The next minute is the resolution. This is where the main conflict is resolved. The open mic night is a huge success. It's not about selling the most coffee, it's about building a community the soulless corporation cannot replicate. We see the shop filled with happy people, the rival shop looking empty and sterile by comparison. Sarah has found a new way to win, not by fighting on their terms, but by embracing her unique strengths. This victory should be a direct result of her character growth. Finally, the last 30 seconds should offer a new hook. A great series never truly ends, it just pauses. The resolution solves the immediate problem but hints at what's to come. Perhaps the rival's manager walks into her shop, looks around and gives her a mysterious smile. Creating a successful video series is about more than just good storytelling, it is also a strategic process. Once your sequel is released, your job is not over. You must become a student of your own work. The tools you use are your analytics, a story guide, a long-term mindset. These elements work behind the scenes to keep your series consistent, responsive to your audience, sustainable for the long journey ahead. They form the invisible architecture behind your creative vision. Your video analytics are your direct line to your audience. Pay close attention to viewer retention graphs. Where do people stop watching? Is there a specific scene where energy drops? This data is invaluable. Many viewers drop off during your recap. Maybe it's too long. If they leave during dialogue, maybe it wasn't engaging enough. Use feedback as a lesson, not criticism. Learn what holds attention and what doesn't. That makes part 3 stronger. Analytics turn guesswork into informed decisions. As your story gets complex, a story guide is essential. It's a simple doc for all important details. What is Sarah's employee's name? What was the name of her first viral coffee blend? What promise did she make to her family in part 2? Writing these down ensures consistency. Nothing breaks immersion faster than forgetting your own rules. The guide is also a creative wellspring. When planning the next installment, look back at past events and unresolved threads to find inspiration for new conflicts and arcs. Think of your series as a long journey, not sprints. Every video is one step in a bigger narrative. This perspective encourages patience and sustainable growth. Not every video will go viral, and that's okay. Build a loyal audience invested in your long-term story. Focus on gradual growth of characters and world. Be inspired by the journey. Watch your characters, your world, and your storytelling skills evolve over time. Growth is the story, on screen and behind it. The process of creating a successful video series sequel mirrors the journey of an entrepreneur. It requires a blend of creative vision, strategic planning, and deep understanding of the audience. A creator must be willing to acknowledge past triumphs while confronting new and unexpected challenges that arise with growth and success. By mastering the art of storytelling, moving from external to internal conflicts, raising the stakes, building genuine character development, and the science of production through meticulous pacing and seamless transitions, a creator can build not just a single successful video, but a lasting legacy. The final product becomes a testament to the creator's own journey, proving that true value, whether in a business or a story, is found not in a single moment of triumph, but in the continuous and resilient journey of growth. Your sequel is not just the next chapter in your story, it's the next step in your evolution as a creator. The audience is waiting, the story continues, and the journey of growth never ends.